Hey everybody, it's been a while. You know how it goes. Sometimes you're out here once a week, sometimes you're out here once every 2 months. So I'm back. I've got a piece of I believe it's a silver maple, but I'm probably completely wrong. At least that's what I was told it was. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is it's beautiful green. I've got some fiddleback in here, some feathering due to that. I've got two of them here, one slightly thicker than the other. We're looking at about 1.5 inches for both of them each. This one just looks a little bit thicker, I think. No, this one is here on this side. And then about 5 inches round, so I'll probably get about a 4-inch round out of it. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do a live edge. I'm just going to do a regular bowl. And go figure, my marker is not next to me, so we'll have to use something else. And I don't have anything else here, so let me go find that and I'll be right back. You can really tell it's been a while since I've done any turning. I don't have all my good tools right here. Let me see if that center marked it. Yep, I got a little hole there. So we got our center close enough that we can get. I'm not going all the way down. I'm on about halfway of my normal woodworm screw. And we'll use a spacer in here. Now let's see if this spacer's going to be big enough or not. Oh yeah. There we go. Lock it. Tighten it a little bit more. Get stuff out of the way. Got a 1/2 inch spindle gouge to rough it, a 1/2 inch bowl gouge to help out. And then I'll have a 3/8 bowl gouge as well. And yes, I will pull up some tailstock support. For now, we've got a split down here. See how that goes. Alright. Okay. We use the spindle gouge like Mr. Raffin does to get us rounded off. A little cheaper than the bowl gouges are. Get our eye pro on. You know, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring you in a little bit closer. Let me readjust this camera. That looks terrible. Bring you back. About 1400 now. Smoothed out. That's better. We still got that little bit of a split there. This is where the V was for the crotch piece. So a little flat spot there. So we're just about where we need to be. Let me finish up this bottom real quick. Alright, we got a good size tenon on here. Let me roll that a little bit more. Let's get our scraper so we can make some pretty stuff happen here. Alright. And I did have freshly sharpened tools prior to turning, so I made sure we did that. rephrase that. I did not sharpen the scraper. So I sharpened the bowl gouge and the spindle gouge. We got some pretty nice grain. Little, I think I'm going to save that. I don't want to, we're going to use some black CA on that. I just like the shape too much the way it is, and it's not that big of a crack. It's very thin actually. Yeah, it's very thin. Okay, so we'll hit it with some spray real quick. We'll hit it with some spray. We'll hit it with some CA glue. We're only using the poly spray to keep this from staining, but we do have some chatouillons there, even with that light spray of poly. I don't know, this may not have, I may have not put enough poly on there. Alright. Yeah, it didn't take much CA glue on that at all. Let me hit. Oh, hold on, we got some bubbling. And bubbling means it's soaking down into that crack. Hit us with the accelerator. Alright, we'll let this dry for a bit, then we'll come back and scrape it one more time. I'll sharpen the scraper before I do it, and then we will sand it, flip it over, and start working with the top side. But this is going to have a beautiful, beautiful grain pattern. It might make a good little prep bowl too. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go with like a ring bowl, EDC bowl, and put some poly on it. What I want to do, it's just got beautiful grain to it. It might be more of a showpiece than a utilitarian. We'll have to see. Okay, well, I'll bring you back. Let's go ahead and touch this thing up and get this last little bit done on the outside. We'll get into some sanding. That is nice. Little spot there. That'll sand out though. So, all right, let's go ahead and chamfer this top part real quick. And now we will get to sanding. Okay, we are here. Let's see. I don't know if you can see the grain that well. Let's bring you down a little bit closer maybe here. So now we're hitting it with the denatured alcohol. You can still see a little bit of that chatoyance in there. There's a little bit of color there from the split, and then you got the chatoyance from that feathering. Alright, we'll let that dry out real quick. It won't take that long. Hit it with a clean cloth and our 400 grit. Nice and smooth. Alright, so what I'll do now is I'll hit it with our sanding sealer. Okay. Make sure we get it around the tenon. But I'm not going to put it on the base of the tenon because I need to sign it still. Alright, so it's on the tenon. And all the way around the outside. It's soaking it up pretty good. Let me hit it with another. Now this will dry when I flip it over and I'm working the inside. This outside will be drying, and then I can knock it off with a high, maybe 600 or 800 grit sandpaper. Let's flip it over. A little bit of paper towel. It ain't got to be that tight, it's just got to be snug. You don't want it to spin. If you do it too tight sometimes, like if you wrench down on it, you can rip the tenon off. A whole variety of different things can occur. But what I am going to do is move our camera once I get this set up. Okay, so we are back again, and we have our small piece of, like I said, I believe it's silver maple, popped up on our lathe, flipped over the right way. I'm just going to flatten off the face, and then we'll hit the drill, the depth drill on it real quick. Okay, let's see where we're sitting at. And we'll go with that spot right there. Right about there. I'll do it. Bring our speed back up. At about $2 grand on this one. Nice and easy. Don't force it. Let the tool do its job. We're not going all the way to the bottom yet. I'm just going to knock away some of the top portions so it doesn't have a lot of wobble. let's see what our thickness is going to be considered for this guy. Oh, gotta get to just the right roller. There we go. I'm at about 1, 2, 3, 4 mil. That's not bad, I don't believe. I'm gonna grab a 3/8 inch bowl gouge so we can get a little bit more detail. Sorry about hitting the camera. So I can get a little bit closer, a little thinner on here. Let's turn on some light too so I can see a little bit better. Might be too bright for you though. That's what I was looking for right there. Now we'll go down a little further. Now for the round nose scraper, we'll go with the little 3/4 inch. Let's raise up our about where we need it. Well, I think we need to go a little further before I start to use the scraper. There we go. Now we can use the scraper. I wasn't deep enough in there. Still had further to go pretty much before I can use the scraper. Alright. That's pretty simple. Ooh, that's close down towards the bottom, but I think we're good. Yep, so we're going to have to sand the rest out. I don't know. Yeah, we should be good. We'll see if I smack it and break it. I'm going to bring the speed down to like 18. You don't always want to take and work the rim area after you've gone all the way to the bottom. If you work the rim area when you've already got the bottom hollowed out, you're going to have a lot of flex when you get thin. And the wall, the wall, you can't see the wall in there, but the wall will start vibrating. So that's why you'll see some people put their hand lightly on the back here. And then very light touch. You have to be really careful, because if that gets too much wobble in there, like if the wood was too wet when you started, and it was drying while you're hollowing it out, and you take too long, you'll get a lot of wobble on that rim, and it'll break right in half. And you don't want to do that with your hand behind it. So you have to be very careful and cognizant of what you're doing when you're doing it. It doesn't help that I still have the little bit of the pith. I'm like right there at the pith on the rim. And I'm honestly too afraid right now to go and face it off again because of the wobble and the thinness. So I don't mind these kind of bowls, the ones that I'm using for more of a decor thing, or everyday carry bowl where they can still have its shine and everything. I don't mind them warping a little bit because it gives it more character. But if you don't want the warp, you have to, one, make sure it's dry as you can get it. 16% is about the best I can do in this garage. And then don't take 3 days to do from the outside to the inside of the bowl unless you're leaving it thick with the inch till you can twice turn it. But anyway, that's too much information. But let's go ahead and get the sanding done. I'm happy with it the best I can be, so I am going to start with 120 on the inside this time. Because I do have a little bitty tear out. So let's go ahead and knock that out. Okay, we are sanded to 320. I'm going to hit it with denatured alcohol. I can see a good amount of chatoyance in there, and then this grain pattern. I wish you could see it. I'll have to show it to you when we get a better shot, when we do the final pictures, because there's like, it looks like flames, light colored flames in here, and here coming from the pith where it branched out. Very nice. Hit it with a 400 now. Actually, nope, I hit it with a dry cloth. Dry cloth to get any residue from the denatured alcohol off of it. And as you can probably see it now, there is some wobble. Yep, you can see it in there. And like I said, this was a pretty dry piece of wood. But it's winter time here. It's been very cold and wet outside, so things fluctuate. Grab our sanding sealer. Good amount of shine up in here. Right in there. Alright. Alright, now we got to take this off, let it dry, and then I don't think I'll be able to finish it up today. I'll work the other half. Our other half here and get it going. This little guy, I'll work this one out while this one's drying. Just go ahead and pull this off and then see if I can show you anything. Alright, so you can see the little bit of decoration I put on the bottom. And then we got our split right there, the crotch portion, and you can see a little bit, okay, that right in here, you see how it's got like flames shooting out? This is the pith right here. That's really neat. And then it's got another set right in here. It's hard to see. I got a lot of bright light above me, so. Alright, well, I'll cut you off and we'll work on that other piece. We're back with our silver maple, our little itty bitty bowl. It's been sitting for a week now. It's time to sand down the sanding sealer. And I did get the other bowl, the other side of it, done as well. And both of them had some beautiful warping with it. So let's go ahead and knock the sand down, and then we'll hit it with its the first coat of polyurethane, the shiny stuff. And I'm going to use a 1500 grit just to knock this down. I know it's way excessive. All you really need is 600, but I had 1500 out already for another project I was working with, and it works just fine. It does make it nice and smooth. You can see the wobble in this now. Yep. And you there is some good chatoyance in this thing too. I don't think you can see it. It might be too bright. I can see it here. Alright, let me take it the opposite direction real quick. Alright. Give it a quick wipe down. Get any of that other dust off. It's got some good shininess to it. And it has some beautiful, beautiful grain patterns on this thing. Hopefully I can get you some good up close shots. Alright. Okay, good. Alright, now we can hit it with the polyurethane. I already have it ready. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the shine. Well, that's way too fast to be using it for polyurethane. Alright, that's our first coat, and it's pretty solid on there. So, you know, I'm going to go a little bit more on the inside. I think when I ran it at 130 RPM, I may have pulled some of the nice shine off of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and let this run for a little bit to get any wibble wobble out of the polyurethane, the streaks. Running it nice and slow helps the polyurethane, especially the white one, spread a little bit and gets more of the streaks from the white one and disperses it. So this should help it out. Normally what I would do is I would be moving this to my other pretty much it's kind of a made-up lathe. It's an old 1950s like Craftsman lathe that I put on a small board that it has a slow motor attached to it, so where this is all it does, and it'll go at like 20 RPM, 50 RPM, to where it can go nice and slow to get epoxy going. So I would normally do this on the other chuck lathe that's a slow rolling lathe, but I wanted to do it for the video. So, because I haven't done a video in a while, but we'll let this go for a bit, and I'll bring you back for pictures at the very end. I'll probably do a wet sand and a second coat on it though.